know what time it is.
How it all works.
Come on.
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 That joint was too quick. It was too quick. Too quick.
Let me hold up. I pressed the wrong beat. I gotta get that beat back in here. 1 second. Let me get that beat back. There it is. All right. What's up, family? It's your boy Kirk. We are back with another episode of How It All Works. Second to last for the season, man. We got this one, we got next one, and that's it. And I hope you guys have enjoyed. Hope you guys are enjoying Black History Month. You see what I got on today? I had to rep the continent, had to rep the heritage, proud, rich culture. Man, listen, so tell me where you guys are at. I see several people are already here. You're already in place. I see Miss Dreeks is here. I see David Hunt, Evan Morcell, Kanik is here, Gerardo is here. Man, thank you so much for coming through in the comments, chatting it up with us. We are in for a treat today, an absolute treat today, man. I mean, really. This is the public speakers episode. GP, I see you. Guest appears in the house. Man, yeah, this is the public speakers episode. If you did not know, I hope that you guys are buckled in and ready, because I'm telling you right now, these two guests, woo! I'm telling you guys, man. I see you, Pastor Paul. I see you, Jennifer Patterson. Yes. Yeah, but these two guests right here, it is going to be official. So I'm just excited about what we're gonna have. Just to recap, we've been enjoying this month with our focus being on professional and Black outside of the 9 to 5, thinking outside of those hours, thinking outside of that box. What can we do with our professionalism? What can we do with our skills, with our talents? What can we do to create other streams of income? So we talked about YouTube and podcasts. We talked about online courses last week. And today we're going to be talking about public speaking. Some of you have been blessed and or cursed with the gift of gab like me. and listen, it's time to cash that check. Because the truth of the matter is, your story deserves a stage. All right, I'm not going to get into it, because listen, I got Quinn Conyers, I got Brian Olds. This is going to be phenomenal. But let me just show you what we got on deck for next week. Let me see what we got here. Let me show you what we got on deck for next week. This is who we got. Oh man. I know, guys. It's too much. We had to close it out strong. Julian Waddell, this is my guy, man. When I think of entrepreneurship, his face, his drive, his energy, that's what pops up in my mind. And of course, Marshall Fox. Listen, if you guys don't know these gentlemen, you need to get to know them quickly and make sure you're in the place with your pen and paper. I hope you got your pen and paper today too, but make sure you're in the place with your pen and paper next week, because it's about to go down. Now, last week we had a small issue, with having to go offline and come back online. I apologize for that. But what I realized was that happened right at the time when we were about to give away these bracelets. So I don't actually have a winner from last week. David Hunt was our winner from the first week of February, first Monday in February. David Hunt was our winner. Second week, which was last week, we don't have a winner. So I'm going to be asking 2 questions in the course of the show today. And those 2 answers, whoever answers them first, you will be the winner of this special edition, not for sale, How It All Works bracelet, bead bracelet. I'm telling you, this is something you're going to want. And if you haven't already, make your way over to howitallworks.com/shop, because that is going to be where you can pick up some shirts, where you can pick up your mug, where you can get some gear. But without any further ado, I'm excited, absolutely excited about my guests for today. I see you, Tiffany Bennett. I see you, Jennifer Patterson. I see you, Valerie Singleton. I'm so excited about our guests today and what they're going to share. And I'm really hoping that you guys are locked in with us for the next hour. And so without any further ado, what I'm going to do first, because I always ask our guests to tell a little bit about themselves. Well, here is a very unique and special way that this video is going to be able to tell about our guest, and then we're going to engage with her on screen. So Quinn Conyers coming up right after this.
the entrepreneur side, but she also shows us the human side and what that looks like, and she pulls you in. And so if you've never had the opportunity to hear her speak, I encourage you to make sure you get to her next workshop, seminar, conference, speaker spotlight, because you will truly be blessed and you will walk away with more gems than you came in with.
93% of communication is nonverbal. What does that mean? That means that before you open your mouth and say a word, you're already communicating. So what you look like, your dress, your hair, all impacts your presentation. And she is one of my stylists. So I want you to know that, because you can have a great presentation, but if your outfit is dirty, dingy, the wrong color, or you wore a suit because it's speech day, the suits are not your thing, the audience can tell.
Wow, 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 wow. Listen, I'm in the presence of royalty, man. I told some friends, I said, man, if you ever feel down about yourself, go and get yourself a speaker reel, okay? Because that speaker reel will bump you right up. I mean, it'll be like, yo, I'm doing something out here. I'm doing something out here. Man, Quinn Conyers, welcome to the show. Folks, How It All Works family, give Quinn Conyers a warm welcome. I want to see you guys in the chat. I want to see your hands. I want to make sure that we welcome her to the platform. I tried to get her on before, but the schedule was not right. No, I listen. I take full blame for that, because I didn't get at her early enough. This is what you got to do, folks. I teach y'all this. You got to invite your guests early. So I doubled back. I got it right this time. I'm so glad we were able to get you in. So Quinn Conyers, we've seen the speaker reel, but just take a second just to introduce yourself to the folks, say a few words to people. They've seen your speaker reel too, and just talk about what it is that you do, especially around this topic of Speak Black Women.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for that kind introduction. It's been a while since I literally watched my own speaker reel from beginning to end. So it's always good to remind it when the world was open and you were speaking and serving live. So again, I appreciate the invite onto your show. My name is Quinn Conyers, and I broadcast the brilliance of Black women in business. Yes. I show them how to turn conversations into cash so they can profit from public speaking, virtually or in person. I personally believe that you can make money speaking even if no one is paying you up front. But I also believe that your voice, public speaking, is a number one skill set that you need to master if you want to be successful in life or in business. So it's time to speak up, because your audience needs to hear your voice.
Wow, 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 wow. Listen, this is one of the things I just absolutely love about speakers. That brand positioning statement is gold. Gold. Okay. Listen, GP's in the comments. He's saying, hey, Quinn, shout out to Melanin at the mic. Hashtag Clubhouse. Yes. I had GP on a couple weeks back talking specifically about Clubhouse and its relevance. Yo, Quinn told me a couple weeks back, this is before I was on there, she's like, you need to get your life together. You need to get on Clubhouse, because it's a whole thing. So I was like, thank you so much, sis, for keeping me right. My wife is in the comments getting me right here as well. She said my volume was too low. Thank you so much. I got that turned up a little bit. I want to make one other point of clarification here. I'm going to ask those two questions, and I will give away these two bracelets, but you have to be on YouTube to be able to answer those questions. So if you're watching over on Facebook, just make your way on over to YouTube. No big deal. YouTube.com/Kirk R. Nugent. How it all works. .com/watch. So Quinn, man, I love this. This is a question that I had on the first public speaker episode that I had where Brian Olds was before, and I figured, it would be robbery not to allow Quinn to answer this same question in one sentence, right? What is public speaking? And then just kind of share with us briefly your journey to the stage.
Public speaking, in my opinion, is a person's ability to be able to communicate to a crowd or one-on-one in a way that is clear, concise, and compelling. That is what I believe that public speaking is. And a lot of times I feel like people think that there needs to be a massive crowd to speak publicly, but it's really a way that you can verbalize your value and advocate for your own awesomeness. And I definitely understand that public speaking is the number one fear of all Americans. However, speaking has been a part of our life since birth. And I can talk to you a little bit about that later, but I feel like we put so much emphasis and energy in so many things, but our speech, your ability to communicate is really can get you the job or not get you the job. Woo. Your ability to speak can get you clients or turn off clients. So it's really a skill set that you must master if you want to be successful in life.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look, the comments have already gone nuts. Folks are clear, concise, and compelling. Your boy Brian Olds is in the backstage, but he still got his hands up. I'm like, that's what's up. And then GP is like, this alliteration though. I mean, that alliteration is gold. Man, you talked about it in your brand positioning statement. You talked about it just now in the definition of what it is to be a public speaker. Just take a quick second. I know this wasn't in our notes, and I apologize. I need to do better now. But take a quick second and just talk about the value of public speaking, because people don't recognize how much you talked about it. It can be the difference between getting the job and not getting the job, right? And we don't think about that being public speaking, but being able to be effectively communicate. What did you say? Clear, concise, and compelling communication is valuable in any aspect of life. So talk a little bit more about that value.
Absolutely. And you know, it's interesting because public speaking and speaking has been a part of our world since we were infants, and we don't necessarily put as much emphasis or energy into it. And it's valuable for so many different reasons. Number one, we get excited if we have a baby and the first words are mama or dad. But what I think is really interesting is I have a 5 and I have a 3-year-old. And literally, I remember taking my son to his very first 1-year-old a doctor's appointment. And one of the questions was, does he know at least 6 words? So mentally I had to go back, and it was yes, he knows mom, he knows dad, he knows mine, he knows no. I mean, that's their favorite word, right? No. But then it got me thinking a little bit more. If you think about speaking, if you have a child and let's say they're 3 or 4 or 5 years old and they haven't spoken a word, well, you are running them around to every specialist because speaking is one of the developmental milestones that we as people judge to see if our child's on track. But speaking doesn't stop there, right? So if you are getting married, okay, if 2 people want to get married in the United States, you verbally have to say, I do or I will. The judge cannot literally say, take a thumbs up. He can't take a head nod. Whoever the officiant is, you have to speak the words, I do or I will, to make your union official. Also, God forbid you ever get arrested. They read you your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can be held against you in a court of law. So speaking has been a part of our lives since the beginning of time. However, when it comes to our business, when it comes to our career, we don't give it that much emphasis until now. However, if you want that dream job, that 6-figure job, or you want that client, guess what? You have to interview for it, which means you have to speak. So in order for you to grow, for you to excel, for you to really expand and get to whatever success is defined by you, you got to use your voice. It is non-negotiable. You can't be mute. You can't be silenced. You can't be muzzled. If you want success and you want it to be obtainable, it comes with opening up your mouth and using your voice.
Oh, she was on such a roll. I totally forgot to make her screen bigger and make me smaller so that you guys can focus in. Oh my gosh, that's gold. That is, I really. Listen, the comments are lighting up. Listen, look at this comment in particular. This is Corey and Marie. I've loved these guys. Her vocal inflections command attention, and the info commands action. Come on. That's good. Oh man, Jennifer Patterson says you have to speak. And Henry McKechnie says that'll preach, facts, all truth. Listen, they're having a good time in the comments, man. They're having a great time in the comments. Let's get to this second question. Or else we're gonna be here all day. Share with us a myth. There's in my opinion, there's a myriad of myths around speaking, public speaking. Yeah. Share with us a myth that isn't true, and tell us briefly what are some of the challenges and opportunities you've seen in the pandemic and how it has affected the speaker industry.
Yeah, so I'll start with your first question because I like to focus, and then ask me the second question after the first one.
I will.
I'm going to come from you from the angle of being a professional speaker in regards to a myth. And the reason why is because there's some people out here who speak, they train, and there's other people who do this professionally. This is what I do professionally. This is how I feed my family. This is how I put money on the table as a speaker and as an entrepreneur. And one of the biggest myths that I see for people who are entering the industry or curious about growing is they think that there's only one way to profit from public speaking. They think there's only one way to make money speaking. And I want to debunk that myth right now. You see, 51% of speakers make their money through receiving an upfront fee or honorarium. 51%. 49% of speakers make their money through speaking or selling from the stage is what we call it, or speaking for free or waiving their fee and then selling their product, their program on the service in the back of the room. Why does that matter? It matters because so many people enter this industry hoping, wishing, and praying that a corporation or a company pays them to speak, not realizing there is more than one way to skin the speaking cat. It is one way to receive an upfront honorarium, but it's not the only way. So one way I like to work with my clients is teaching them to be very diverse in the way that they can make money speaking, and not only waiting for a check, but creating your own stage. So people don't know that there's only a 2% difference on how you can monetize your message. One way, getting a fee up front. The second way, which is my way, is literally getting paid on your own platform. So just understanding that you don't have to wait. The days and times of you getting a check from a company doesn't have to be the only way that you share and monetize your message. So that's one myth I always like to debunk for people.
Wow. 2%. There's only a 2% difference there, folks. Woo-hoo-hoo. I love it. And I love the phrase creating your own stage. Jennifer Patterson just put it in the comments, creating your own stage. This is gold. Look, we're gonna roll right into this other piece of the question. I'm trying my best to keep focused here, but that was such of all the myths. I asked that question in our last public speaker episode, and there was at least 5 myths that were shared. Rokita was on that episode. You remember you referred her to me. Brian Olds, Kenny Anderson, several people were on there. We shared a number of myths, but that myth was not shared. And I really hope that folks really walk away understanding that 49% versus 50% and how that really should shape their focus as they go forward into their speaker journey. Okay. All right. Let's get this question back up here. Oh, it was already up there. In terms of the pandemic, what are some of the things that you have seen in the industry? I know there had to be some opportunities, but also had to be challenges. I know speakers that have, kind of lost their shirt, whereas others who, did lose their shirt but put on a different one very quickly. In fact, they got on a full 3-piece suit now. So what are some of the things that you have seen during the pandemic in terms of the speaker industry?
I have definitely seen a lot of people who I would say are content rich, but delivery poor. Wow. So what does that mean?
Put that in the comments, folks.
And shout out to my husband, Issa Abdul Rahim, who's in the comments. That's my husband right there.
Let's get husband's comment onto the screen. We make our own way. I love it.
Yes. So what I mean, Kirk, by being content rich and delivery poor is the energy, the excitement on how we used to show up and speak and serve live is a different animal when you are in person. You have to speak a certain way. You have to engage a certain way that wasn't required if you were speaking, in person. So what I've seen as a huge mistake, especially in the pandemic, is a lot of speakers are having a tough time transitioning over. So they know their stuff. They're very knowledgeable. They are experienced. But when it comes to commanding a crowd virtually, that's where they're having challenges. So it's not just enough to have a great presentation with a PowerPoint. It's your ability to call out people like Jennifer and Kanique and Dee Bowden and really include them in the conversation. Right. So your comments are now your crowd. Your comments are now your audience. So there's certain ways that I speak on purpose to make sure that I can keep your attention from beginning to end, because I know that I'm competing with your cell phone. I'm competing with Clubhouse. I'm competing with Instagram. So I have to talk in such a way that not only do I grab your attention, I keep your attention. So you're focused from the time I open my mouth to the time I make my closing remarks.
Brian, we just gonna close it out, Doc. We gonna close it out, Doc. My goodness, content rich, delivery poor. Oh,
yeah, and you
we
see
got some
it. You
beggars.
know it.
No, for real. There's some straight beggars out there, yo. Like they trying to get. They got the hat out. They begging. Just poor delivery, poor. Oh my goodness. And listen, I'm not gonna stay here long, but I cannot help but think about our faith-based speakers and preachers and teachers as well, because some of them are really struggling with that delivery. They really are. They live and feed off of the crowd. So now they're in front of a camera. They're like, man, what is this? And it is a different animal, right? I want to acknowledge that, but I just really feel like that is also a muscle and a skill that can be worked and can be refined and can be improved upon as you continue to have opportunities to share and just be intentional about learning new ways to engage. What you've shared is just gold, man. Yeah, Nelson Davis says that advice is the one. He says, bingo, all right? Delivery is crucial. Kanique, this is my wife. She says, oh man, she knows her stuff. I am just on cloud nine right now. This has been absolute gold. As we get ready to transition to Mr. Olds, Mr. Brian J. Olds.
That's my man. That's my
the dude right here. This is the guy. People don't even know what this guy has been able to achieve in his very short years traveling around the sun. But man, I'm so excited to have you here. Excited that we are having this discussion. Don't go anywhere. Please, we want to make sure we get you back in here right after we get a few questions with Brian, and then we'll have a round table where we can chop it up a little bit, and then we'll close this thing out. Quinn Conyers, everybody, listen, if you haven't already, her website is right underneath her name, and it is in the description on YouTube. So if you just click in the description, you can click right there. You can find her, follow her. She has a myriad of tools and resources for people who are looking to speak. Folks, you know how it all works. We gotta take care of our own, fam. I listen. My job is to put these people in front of you. Your job is to make use of the resources that they have available. Okay. So, Quinn Conyers, thank you so much. We will have you back in just a second. But yes, and just as we're getting ready to move now, we're gonna have Brian introduce himself through his own speaker video.
Brian is president of the Black Speakers Network, connected to so many people out here. And he brought a book called Speak Up, The Ultimate Guide to Dominate in the Speaking Industry.
All right, guys, so we are still here at the Urban CEO Conference, Day 3 here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm joined with
Stephanie Lackey of SL Consulting Solutions.
If you had been sitting next to me at Morgan State University in 2006, you would have watched as I walked up to the front of the room to deliver my very first speech in Toastmasters. Now, raise your hand if you're familiar with Toastmasters, if you heard Toastmasters before. Awesome.
All right, so what's going on, guys? Brian Olds coming at you, Black Speakers Network. We are on location down here in Arlington, Virginia at the very first SpeakerCon 2019 conference. We're wrapping up Day 2, and so I'm here and I'm joined with the lovely Lindsay.
My name is Lindsay Vertner. I'm an international personal development coach and transformational speaker. I teach the overwhelmed, ambitious leader how to balance her life by putting herself first.
Raise your hand if you want to be a part of an exciting club, an engaging club. You remember that show Cheers where people walk in and it seems like everybody knows your name? Yeah, right? Yeah. Eva! Right? You want to be a part of a thriving Toastmasters club. And so there are some things that we intentionally did to be able to and create that environment, and those are the 4 things I'd like to share with you today. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, my name is Delita Savage, founder of the Dual Influence Training Academy, and I was here at the Speak Up book launch event. And let me tell you, the speakers were phenomenal. The wealth of information, not only just in speaking, but in terms of running your business and creating the systems, also tax information. I mean, there was just a number of different topics that was on, and it was a wealth of information.
So I think everything that what I realized, especially because this is my first full year out of corporate America, transitioning into business, I think that everything that you want in your life is waiting for you on the other side of your comfort zone.
If you haven't met yet, my name is Brian Oles. I'm the founder and CEO of Black Speakers Network, where of course our mission is to equip, connect, and inspire next generation Black professional speakers. Turn to your neighbor, since it is Sunday, turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, you look good today. Now turn to him one more time and say, you look good, but not as good as me.
Wow. This is amazing. Let's see here. I am not sure what happened to my cameraman. Let's see. This is odd. Okay. Brian, can you hear me? This is weird. I apologize, folks. I might just have to have Brian just go ahead and say a few words, man. Say a few words to folks, man, and introduce yourself while I get my audio set up right here.
I think Brian is on mute. I just texted him. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Brian, you're muted. It seems you're muted in this system. So we just got a message saying that you're muted. It says guest has muted themselves, so I cannot unmute you. All right, I think Brian is going to jump out and come back. And here he comes now. Quinn, thank you so much for being able to jump in here with us. Brian, are you back?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but my camera still stopped. But listen, let's get right into it, man. What is talk to the folks a little bit about who you are, about the Black Speakers Network, while I get my camera situated.
Yeah, do your thing, man. Do your thing. Okay. So first of all, it's so cool seeing that that speaker reel for a couple reasons. One, I'm like, why is nobody in that speaker reel wearing that mask? Like, I'm just it's just like a weird feeling. But definitely super excited on how it all works, man. For those of you that have not met yet, of course, Brian Oles, president and founder here at Black Speakers Network, where our mission is to equip, connect, and inspire the next generation of Black professional speakers. And so we are in the building. If we have anybody from the BSN community watching, either live on Facebook or YouTube, we always do the BSN in the building thing, Kurt. So
yes, indeed. I love it, man. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, you're back. You look good.
Thank you, sir. I don't even know what I did.
The power of that sizzle reel. Maybe it was too sizzling.
I think it was, man. But listen, I am folks. Let me just now that you can see me, let me just say this real quick, man. Brian Oles is a force to be reckoned with. You guys need to understand the power of Black Speakers Network, and this is the founder. We are truly honored to have him in this space again. I want to make sure that we point that out. This is his second time joining us on the platform, How It All Works. In fact, I want to just say this right here, Brian. I want people to, if you remember what the title of the episode was, Brian, when Brian Oles was first on this platform, what was the title of that episode? If you could put that in the chat, then I got a surprise for you. I got something I'm gonna need to reach out to you, get your address so I can mail you a little surprise. The title of the episode where Brian Oles first came on the platform, How It All Works. If you can put that in now, yeah, I know you
leaked it earlier.
I know I did. That's why I'm hoping that somebody would have heard that. It's like, oh, I think he said it earlier. You know, we'll see. You know that they're delayed, Brian. So they're gonna hear it in a second, and they'll start responding. Speaking as a career and bolt on. That's not it, Henry. It's not it. That's not the title of the episode. I know exactly what it is, and I can see the flyer in my head, but I cannot say it out loud. That's not it. That's actually the title of today's episode, Speaking as a Career and Bolt-On Business. But Brian, take us. You've already taken a second, introduced yourself, talked a little bit about Black Speakers Network, but talk about yourself as a speaker. I got a chance to kind of go through your website today. I always go on blackspeakersnetwork.com, but I got a chance to go on your website today, and I was very impressed with your site and the setup and basically the vast array of speaking engagements that you've done, and your body of work is phenomenal, man. Talk to folks a little bit about what it is. Let me get my question up here. Share with us the relevance of having a speaker network specifically catered to black professionals. This is our first question, and as you know, this is what we're focused on this month is professional and black outside of the 9 to 5. And here is a network. I personally joined. I am getting speaker. What do you call those emails? Speaker.
You're a new premium member, and so
that's right.
Aboard. Yes.
Thank you, sir. But they're sending me speaker engagements,
opportunity
alerts is the term I'm looking for. Speaker opportunities at least twice a week, and these are live opportunities. So, folks, it's not a game. There's not a major benefit in this speaker network, but I want you to talk specifically about the relevance of having this network specifically catered to black professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I started Black Speakers Network in 2016, but my speaking career actually started about 10 years before that at Morgan State University. And so just to quickly recap that, I was the person that couldn't lead two people in silent prayer, started in Toastmasters, made it through my first presentation. I was like, boom, all those reasons that speaking is so critical that Quinn mentioned just a few moments ago, 100% apply to me. And intuitively, I think we all kind of know it at some level, Kurt. Like we know how important, we know that leadership is connected to communication. We know that being able to articulate our message, that we're perceived as more trustworthy as entrepreneurs and business owners and professionals when we're able to communicate confidently and clearly. And so they always say that everything that you want in life is waiting for you right outside of your comfort zone. And so me, that was this was that thing, and it definitely was uncomfortable because I'm the skinny kid from Baltimore, certified introvert, couldn't lead two people in silent prayer type of deal. And so when I went around to try to figure out, so I'm the type of person where I love learning in community. And so if I can't find a community, the next best thing, of course, is to create it. And so that's really the type of energy that we were on. And there are organizations out there that focus on speaking, but I just saw such a lack of representation. And you have to understand, I'm coming from Morgan State University, the blackest, we got 100 plus HBCUs in the country. Morgan is up there, and it was an incredible experience. And so seeing individuals who had a message, who had talent, but when it came to the business of speaking, we really didn't have, unless you knew someone else. Like I see my guy Robert Kennedy III on here.
Yes, sir.
If we knew a Quinn Conyers or Robert Kennedy, maybe you could have a little bit of bridge, but if you didn't even know anybody, then it's like, what's the path? And so what I wanted to do very early on is bridge the gap. And so that's why our mission right now is to equip, connect, and inspire the next generation of Black professional speakers. But let's just set the landscape a little bit and talk about business. Okay. There are 31.7 million small businesses in the United States. I think these like 2019 numbers. So maybe up, maybe down, but let's say 30 million small businesses in the United States. Kurt, do you know how many are Black owned? Not a trick question. 2 million. 2 million
out of 31.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
Wow.
2 million. Yep. Goes up, goes down. And so here's the deal. when we're looking at the landscape, there's an amazing study that was done last year by organization called Brookings. So it's kind of like a research public policy think tank. And so we talked a lot about the wealth gap, and this is getting to your question, like why Black Speakers Network? Because the interesting thing is that when I first started BSN and I named it Black Speakers Network, we got a little bit of heat for it. Why I got to be Black? In 2016. Now people are like, oh yeah, naturally Black Speakers Network. But I think, Kurt, there's a misconception that the playing field has been somehow equal, and it hasn't been. And so the Brookings Institute puts out this study, and so you've heard of the wealth gap between Black households, white households. 2019 numbers. The median white household held $188,000. That's the net worth of the people in that house. Wow. That was 7 times the amount of wealth for Black households, which was $24,000. So almost $200,000, $24,000. Now,
right.
That here's the important part that I want people to know. That needle hasn't really moved in 30 years, 3 decades. We've gone through industrial revolution, we've gone through technology revolution, we've gone through the internet revolution. That numbers remain relatively flat. Now, here's the deal. Black households, which we know in the United States, so that's like 13% of the population. Right. 13%. Black households held just 4%. Just 4% of the $4.6 trillion in total household wealth. We have just 4%. And so now that number that I mentioned earlier about 2 if businesses versus the 31.7 million, it starts to put it into perspective. And if those numbers aren't big enough, the last number I'll leave you with, Kurt, we all know that being a billionaire now is not that big of a deal to be a millionaire. A lot of millionaires around the world, thousands and thousands of millionaires. But in the United States, there are only 7 Black billionaires, but there's 788 total billionaires in the entire country. We got 7.
Wow.
So Dave Stewart, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, Robert F. Smith, and Tyler Perry.
He named them.
That's it. That's all we got. And so why Black Speakers Network? 7. So that's why Black Speakers Network. And so for us, we have to do exactly what Quinn said. Instead of being muted and muzzled, we need to figure out how to close that gap. And I think the reality is that education alone isn't going to do it. Financial education alone isn't going to do it. We need to own. We need to own property. We need to own businesses. We need to own ideas. We need to protect the ownership of those ideas. And we need to know how to take information, resources, package them, deliver them into the marketplace, and be able to profit from that. And so that's really at the heart of what we are focused on at BSN.
Wow, man. Listen, I really hope y'all were taking some notes, man, because this is phenomenal stuff that Brian is sharing with us. This is a masterclass, honestly. Some of you knew some of that stuff, but there's a lot of you who are wondering to yourselves right now, like, man, those are staggering, very staggering numbers. Very, very, of course, making the case very clear for having this space, and I love what they are doing in the Black Speakers Network. I wanted to I guess round out our section here, and then we're going to get Quinn back in. I want to round out our section with this last question here for you, Brian. How important are the benefits of a speaker membership program, and what are some unique offerings of BSN? The reason why I wanted to round out our section with this question, I think you said it earlier, that you learn best in community, and one of the origin stories for BSN is that you wanted to create that community because the community didn't exist. But here is BSN as a community, and what I want people to walk away with, in your own words, if you could share, the benefits of a membership program. Like, some people feel like, oh, I'm a speaker anyway, I could do this. I have been speaking for years. Have been member of other programs and gotten out of them, and I still joined the Black Speakers Network, and I'm still finding immense value. So talk to the folks about what are some of the benefits of a speaker membership program, and anything that you want to share that's unique to BSN.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in 2021, just in general, if you're not, as an entrepreneur, because we're talking about business and, you know, even professional growth, if you're not building communities, you're going to get left behind. Every major brand has figured out the value of cultivating long-term relationships with their ideal customers. Starbucks, Panera Bread, Netflix, Amazon, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, you have to build a community. And so, and as a professional, to hone your craft, to master your craft, you need to be a part of a community. Now, here's what I think is powerful about communities. Being in association with other like-minded people who are doing what you're doing, you get the benefit of reaching up and grabbing people who are just a little bit further ahead of you. And I'm not even talking about people who did it 20, 30 years ago. You know, we have those folks too. But I mean, Kurt, if you just sold a book last week, if you just did your first 4-figure, 5-figure, 6-figure course launch, if you just close your first training contract, like, me being able to hear directly from you, to collaborate with you, to create a joint event, to do things like this, that is really the crux of being in a community. You also have people next to you who are also on the same journey. So now if I start, you know, feeling a little behind, or, you know, I got somebody right there next to me that's going to, you know, push me ahead. And, you know, my background, part of my background in corporate was instructional design. So adult learning how to, you know, create content. And one of the things I learned through that process is, like, if you really want to test how well you know something, just try teaching it to somebody else. Effectively teach something to somebody else, Kurt, then you are demonstrating mastery over that subject. And so community provides all three of those things. Now, with Black Speakers Network specifically, what we know is that as you're building a speaking business, and, you know, we focus on the 5 M's. So it's getting clarity on your mission, your message, your marketing, how to monetize, and how to manage your speaking business.
Come on.
In the last show. So that's our framework. So that's all we focus on, is those 5 M's. However, these aren't linear. As Quinn mentioned earlier, there's so many different ways to monetize your speaking business, and no two speaking businesses are going to look exactly the same. And so what you need then is perspective. You need context. And so what we focus on is visibility, credibility, and consistency. That we believe that building a speaking business is a marathon and not a sprint. Like, this is a long-term business. And so relationships, most people are getting speaking opportunities, not from, you know, not because you're the best speaker. You might be a really, really great speaker, but for somebody to actually say, hey, Kurt, I want to bring you on my stage. They either have to know you, or you have to get co-signed by somebody who knows you, or you have to get visibility. They have to see something that you've done. They have to hear you. They have to experience you. And then it also helps to have somebody else to be like, oh yeah, Kurt, he's golden. You definitely need him. And so having a community is what provides that. And so when you join Black Speakers Network, you're getting not only access to 15 speaking opportunities that you mentioned earlier, but you're also we're adding you to our speakers directory. We're giving you an opportunity to showcase on our platform, and we're providing consistent content for you to continue to up level your skills. And so that is you know, what we're focused on. And I believe that it's just my whole thing, Kurt, every single day when I wake up in the bed, man, I'm like, have fun. My motto, have fun, make money, make an impact. Make an impact. If I can do those 3 things in no particular order, then I feel good. And I feel like, you know, the community provides opportunity to do that.
Wow. Listen, we're gonna catch this quick little video about BSN, and then we're gonna, after the video is done, all 3 of us are gonna be on screen, and we're gonna take some of your questions if you have them. So begin putting them in the chat right now with the letter Q in front of your question. But let's get this quick little video.
How long have you been in this speaking industry? Did you get bit by the speaker's bug in 2020? Have you been doing this for 7 years?
Those of you who have connected with BSN, let me tell you, you are in the right place. What you don't get from revelation, you get from relationship. And you guys are connected to an amazing relationship through the BSN. And I'm so confident that if you treat this business as a business, I don't care if you've been speaking for 5 minutes or 5 years, it's a mindset.
You're actually disrespecting your business and you don't even know it. What you do is so great. However, your ability to share it with others can be the reason why you profit from public speaking, or it could be the reason why you remain frustrated, you remain stagnant.
So my friend, you've got to learn to change your concept of selling. Selling is serving. People are gonna buy something, period. So if you don't sell something, guess what? You're making people buy a subpar product from somebody else.
I don't know about you, but I'm not asking a seat at anyone's table anymore. I am creating my own table. Some of you are waiting, wishing, praying for someone to invite you to speak.
You are worthy. You don't need to lose 1 pound. You don't need to gain 1 inch. Nothing about you needs to change to be worthy of what it is that has already been earmarked and reserved for you.
Forget about being the best speaker. Forget about being the most polished. You want to be the go-to expert in your field.
The amount of value that we got, even if we're not in person, I still felt that same experience like I was in the room.
This conference empowered me. This conference motivated me, and this conference encouraged me. And yes, I will definitely be there for the next one as well.
Without a doubt, this was one of the best communities, one of the best opportunities that I've taken. And I'm just really excited to see what more is to come.
This was history in the making. BSN rocks, y'all. If you're not a part of Black Speakers Network, you definitely need to be a member.
Wow.
Yo!
Do we have everybody?
I wasn't ready.
You weren't
ready? I wasn't ready. Brian, were you ready for that? I wasn't ready.
For the video?
No, I wasn't ready.
That video was great. That video was great, man. Listen, I'm just blown away that, I mean, the amount of value. The thing that I want folks to walk away with is that to take the box off of speaking. Quinn said it earlier. Brian has said it multiple times, and we've said it in multiple different ways. Speaking is a part of every aspect of your life. And one of the things I say as a tech professional is that there are no more non-IT jobs, because technology has kind of permeated every aspect of our lives, right? Every industry has its own technology. And then what I teach folks is, if you learn the technology specific to your arena, you will stand head and shoulders above your peers, and it makes you ripe for the plucking in terms of leadership. People who can speak not only the language of their industry, but the language of tech are literally those who will lead in the next generation. But if you can't speak, you're done. You know, and that's not just outside of the 9 to 5. It's literally in every aspect of your life. If you cannot effectively communicate, right? Even in your home, with your children, with your spouse, effective communication is so critical. And learning ways to be able to share what it is you have on your mind and heart, whatever value you want to put out in the earth that God has called you to speak, that is something you need to hone. That is something you want to work at. You want to, sharpen and fine tune. And this is why I feel like this was such a critical episode, to critical topic, I should say, to put right here in Black History Month for all of us to really, focus on for a little bit and think about, because speaking is literally a part of everything that we do. I want to take a second right here to say, it looks like we had 2 winners for that last question. Valerie Singleton, I'm going to need your address. If you could just email your address to info@howitallworks. info@howitallworks. Works is spelled with an E. I'm gonna ask Kanique to put that email address in the chat. And it looks like Denali and some others were saying that Henry answered the question too. So Henry, we're gonna throw in some beats for you as well, brother. I listen. I'm not even gonna debate you. I thought you got it wrong, but they said you got it right. I will go back and check. But we're gonna need your address as well. So just email us at info@howitallworks.com. Our second question.
What's the prize?
What's the prize?
Yeah. Oh, nice.
It's a How It All Works set of beads, and it actually has How It All Works on the little pendant right here, and it has Africa, the shape of Africa on the other side. So yeah, man. Listen, and we're not. This is not even in the store, not at least not yet. After the month of February, we might put it in there. The last question we have for the audience is: we want to name one person that was on season 1, episode 1 of How It All Works. First episode, the episode was titled Live Stream Breakdown. If you can name some people, of course not me, name some of the guests that we had on that show, then you will be our second winner for today. But man, I want to get this group question on the screen here real quick as we get ready to wrap up. We got a Plug Your Hustle section in just a second. But Quinn, Brian, what is your number one tip for anyone looking to get into public speaking? Now, and I understand that there are many ways to get into it. It doesn't necessarily have to be full time, but folks who are like, this is something I've been thinking about. I wonder what would I do first? What should I do first? What is your number one tip? That first thing that you would tell somebody as you're giving them advice, what would you lead them to first?
Yeah, so I would definitely say to master your M&Ms, right? Master your M&Ms. What does that mean? A lot of times when people jump into this industry, they want to speak about anything and everything to everybody, right? So it's about mastering your message. When you open your mouth, what do you want your audience to know? Okay. What is your message? So my message is that public speaking should be the foundation and be used as a marketing strategy for anyone in business. That is my message. If you want to market, promote your business, then you need to be using public speaking as a strategy. The next thing that you want to master in your M&Ms is going to be your actually market. Who are you speaking to? And a lot of times this is where we get too vague. We want to speak to men. All men are not created equal. We want to speak to moms. All moms are not created equal, right? So you got moms with newborns. You got moms with kids in kindergarten. You got moms with high school students. You got moms with kids who are out of the house. So being very crystal clear on who is your market. More importantly, that individual who desperately needs your services, that you can change their life, blow their mind, or rock their world. And then last thing with your M&Ms is to master your medium. Which platform do you want to be on? And the reason why is there's too many people trying to TikTok, Snapchat, be on YouTube, be on Clubhouse, plus the podcast, Facebook Live, Instagram Live. I'm exhausted saying it, so I know that people are exhausted doing it. So you want to make sure that you pick that one medium that you can really, really go hard on. So if you want to start going with YouTube, just make sure that you're making your voice visible on YouTube. But just pick that one medium in which you want to use your voice to reach the target market that you know that you can really change their life, change their business, or change their career. So the advice that I would give to anybody who wants to enter into the public speaking market is to master your M&Ms.
Master your M&Ms, guys. Woo! Oh, that's good. That is good. That is good. Master your M&Ms. I'm seeing a couple people have put it in there. Master your message and market. Master your message and market. Man. Whew. David Turner says, "You have my attention, QC." Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. Brian, same question to you, sir. Let me get this other comment up here. Message, market, medium. Yes, Jennifer. That's the takeaway right there. Message, market, medium, master your M&Ms. So Brian, same question we're posing to you as we close it out. We're getting ready to go into the Plug Your Hustle section. As we leave, folks, they're wondering, so Quinn has given them what she felt and feels is the best first step. Give us something else, another nugget of wisdom that you would give to an aspiring, soon to be professional speaker, public speaker, I should say. What would you say to them?
Absolutely. So I love speaking with Quinn because we're cut from the same cloth. We speak the same language. And so what I'm going to say is simply going to complement what she has already said around those M&Ms. And actually, mine is going to come. So what she's saying from a technical perspective is what you absolutely want to do. What I'm going to speak about is the mindset to put that into action, because I actually have a book coming out on April 1st. It's called Perfecting Progress. And
Good.
So the number one thing that I see a lot of speakers do, because what we don't want is people to watch this video, get the advice that Quinn just gave, and then a year from now we come back and they still haven't executed. And so my advice is don't let perfection stand in the way of progress. And what I mean by that is, regardless of where you are, you just need to start. Like, as you are figuring out those different M's, you're not going to go into a room by yourself and figure out your mission, your message. You can get a start, but you're going to have to battle test that in the marketplace. You're going to have to go out, get onto some podcasts. If you can't get on a podcast, you're going to have to host your own event. You're going to have to start taking action. And so I think that is the number one thing. And the other thing that people are kind of that they get hung up on is that they feel like they have to have all of these different things together. Like when Quinn's website didn't look like it did now, like that amazing website that Marshall did, we didn't have this beautifully branded speaker reels. I just got that speaker reel last year. Like, you have to kind of start where you are with what you have and just realize that there are people right now making that know half as much as you do, but they're charging twice or three times as much as you are charging, if anything, because they have the courage to step out and start serving people where they are with what they have. And so if you marry, I think, that advice with what Quinn just gave you, then regardless of where you're starting your speaking business, you'll be ready to roll.
Man, that's gold. Start where you are. Don't be jealous of anybody. That's what RK3 is saying in the comments right now. Somebody said fail fast. Somebody said don't let perfection stop your progress. This is all gold. This is all gold. And any one of these nuggets of wisdom really should be lighting a fire underneath you to really get out there and do something, right? And it gives you some direction as well. And I don't want to, well, first of all, we don't want to gloss over the fact that he just kind of snuck in there. He's got a book coming out. Come on. Give us a little more, Doc. Give us a little more. When you said the book's coming out, talk to us a little more. Book's coming out when? What's the name of the book? Give us the byline. Talk to us. What's the book?
Yeah, so it's April 1st. Perfection or Progress, question mark. So it's a first generation entrepreneur's guide to prosperity. And so really excited about that, because this is something that a lot of my speaking brand right now has been focused on that. Unless, obviously people want to learn how to speak. So I have a keynote on, 5 C's of crafting powerful presentations, or the 5 M's. But a lot of my time now is spent talking about the BSN journey. And so, partnerships, communities, systems, like the journey I had to go through, being a first generation college student, first generation entrepreneur, just things that we're learning. Like my accountant and I were sitting up like to 2 a.m. the other night, sending out like 1099s. I'm like, did we send this out last year? She was like, you weren't paying anybody last year. I'm like, oh. So, you learn stuff along the way. And I want to demystify that journey. It's been 2 years coming up in April that I've left my full-time job, where I was, just really excited to be able to now operate in this space where, again, community, you could reach back and help other people. And so that's really the focus of that.
While we got you on the hot seat, man, just take a second, tell people where they can find you, follow you, and of course, when the book comes out, where they can get that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm Brian J. Oles everywhere. So Instagram, Clubhouse now. We have a new room on Clubhouse for Black Speakers Network, so I highly recommend following that. But I mean, you can just, me and Quinn are Googleable. Like, we can't be missed. So if you Google Brian Oles, you're probably gonna find me. So it's pretty easy. That's what's up. Whatever platform you want to. But of course, I want to encourage everyone to join Black Speakers Network community on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook and just type in Black Speakers Network, join the community, and you'll get a free copy of our book, Speak Up, The Ultimate Guide to Dominate in the Speaking Industry.
That's good. I hope that they heard you say free. Looks like my camera stopped again. Look, I hope they heard you say free. Doc. Quinn, take a second, Quinn, to tell folks a little bit about yourself, a little bit about what you do, where they can find you, follow you. What do you have coming up next?
Absolutely. And thank you again. Similar to Brian, my book, Speak Black Woman, How Women in Business Can Turn Conversations into Cash, is actually going to be on pre-order for next month. And I'm so excited because even though the book is for Black women in business, Brian Olds wrote the foreword because him and I are just so aligned. And I knew that I could not birth that book without his name attached to it. So I'm excited about that. And also, you know, I am Quinn Conyers on all social media platforms. There's only one Quinn Conyers. I Googled myself and I am the only one who pops up. So again, Quinn Conyers on all social media platforms, QuinnConyers.com. But more importantly, if you're liking this conversation, you know, one of the things that I tell people all the time, if you want to make money in this industry, you have got to be able to verbalize your value and articulate your awesomeness. And one of the ways that you do that is with a clear, concise, and compelling verbal business card. Kirk, you called it a positioning statement, and I do have that coming up. So if you go to QuinnConyers.com and you click on events on March 12th, you can enroll in my verbal business card VIP day. It's only $49. Okay. So again, March 12th, verbal business card VIP day. Go to QuinnConyers.com, click on events, and I'm going to show you how to open up your mouth and attract and not repel clients as soon as you open your mouth. So if you know that your elevator pitch is boring and basic and it's time for a makeover, let me show you how to verbalize your value. It might be that time to get a verbal business card. So again, he has it up on the screen. If you go to QuinnConyers.com, click on events, you can go right to that and you can enroll for only $49. So I would love to serve you in that capacity.
Gold. And we got Brian's site up here as well. So definitely, man, but yeah, that verbal business card, definitely want to make sure that folks know about that and that they take advantage of that as well. That is really good. That is really good. Folks, I want to say a word to both of my guests, to Quinn Conyers, to Brian Olds. Thank you. This has been phenomenal. I mean, just loads and loads of information, nuggets of wisdom. I know I'll be watching the replay to catch what I missed. But man, I want to say a word of thank you to both of you for coming out, spending some time with us. Hang back for just a second while I close things up. I want to catch you in the backstage, if you will, once we close out the show. Well, folks, listen, another one is in the books. This is the second to last one for the season. Second to last one for the season. I want to say that one more time. This is the second to last one for the season. So you know what our theme has been: professional and Black outside of the 9 to 5. And next week we have Julian Waddell and we have Marshall Fox for our season finale. And there's going to be a special session in that episode that you won't want to miss. So please mark your calendars. Next Monday, February 22nd, 5:30 Central Standard Time, 6:30 in the East, 3:30 in the West. It's your boy Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher, hoping that somewhere in the video today, somewhere as Quinn was talking, somewhere while Brian was talking, that you were able to peek behind the veil a little bit, that you were able to put some of the puzzle pieces together, that light bulb went on and you had that aha moment. Essentially, what I'm saying is I hope that you're able to figure out how it all works. We'll see you in the next video.